Hi guys, welcome to my channel CADiologist. This exercise is all about using basic tools from Draw and Modify panels in order to draw a 2D view of a spanner and a screwdriver. If you are uncertain about any of the tools function in this exercise, you can check out tutorials 1 to 6 of this course and use the timestamps in each video's description to skip around to the part you wish to review. Do your best to watch until the end so you don't miss on the important details. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring that notification bell to stay updated. As I just said in this video, we will draw and dimension together a spanner and a screwdriver. When you open AutoCAD, click on Start Drawing from the interface. If the grid is activated, turn it off from the status bar or use F7 key to turn it on and off. Type units in the command line and make sure drawing units type is decimal, precision is 020, draw units is millimeter. Type LA to open Layer Properties Manager and create a layer named Workshop Tools. And create another layer for dimensioning. Change the dimension layer color to gray number 8 and line type to 0.00. Double-click the Workshop Tools layer to set it as the current layer, then close Layer Properties Manager. Make sure Ortho Mode is activated. Click on this little arrow of OSNAP and check Endpoint, Midpoint, Center, Quadrant, Intersection, and Tangent modes. Before you start drawing, be sure to save the file and keep doing that from time to time to avoid losing your drawing and effort by mistake. If you are saving for the first time, click on Save from the Quick Access toolbar, choose the file location, and type the name. Then click on Save. Click on the Application button. Click on Options, go to Open and Save tab. In the File Safety Precautions, make sure Automatic Save is checked and at every 10 minutes. Moreover, you can click on Ctrl+S to save your progress anytime you want. Draw a 16 by 16 mm square. Activate Circle tool from Draw panel. Put the cursor over this midpoint mark. When you move it slowly downward, you should see a vertical path if Object Snap Tracking is on. Type 4 mm to specify the circle center point. The radius will be 12 mm. Select both the square and circle. Activate Trim tool from Modify panel. Then trim these parts. Type C for the circle command and draw a circle at this mark of 20 mm radius and another circle at this midpoint mark of 30 mm radius. Use the TTR option of circle command. Specify the first point tangent to this circle and the second point tangent to this circle. Then type 10 mm for the radius. Select it and activate Mirror tool from Modify panel. Specify the first point of mirror line at this mark and the second one somewhere here. Click space to end the command. Type TR to activate Trim command. Click on space again to make AutoCAD assumes all objects in the drawing area selected. Then follow me trimming the parts we don't want. Draw a horizontal X-line at this midpoint mark. Activate Trim tool again and get rid of these parts. Select the whole object and type J to join all segments into one. Draw 18 by 18 mm square Draw a circle 4 mm along this path and a 14 mm radius. Then trim these parts. Draw a 22 mm radius circle at this mark and another at this mark of 32 mm radius. Use the TTR option of circle command. Specify the first point tangent to this circle and the second point tangent to this circle. Then type 10 mm for the radius. Mirror it to the opposite side and activate trim command. Follow me trimming the parts we don't want. Draw a horizontal X line at this midpoint mark. Activate trim tool again and get rid of these parts. Select the whole object and type J for join. Activate the fillet command from Modify panel, specify the radius 2 mm and type M for multiple, then fillet these corners. Rotate this spanner head and place it over here. Then move it downward 140 mm. I will draw center lines for each spanner head. Type LT in the command line and hit space. In the line type manager, click on Load. Scroll down until you find Center. Click on OK. OK again. Click on Ctrl+1 to open Properties palette. Select these lines and change the color to gray number 8. Change the line type to center and the scale to 0.1. Draw a vertical X line at this midpoint mark. Window select this head and activate Rotate command from Modify panel. Specify base point of rotation here and type 15 for the angle. Rotate the other head in the same manner. Offset the X line 6 mm to both sides. Then move it left 100 mm. Use the TTR option of Circle command. Specify the first point tangent to this circle and the second point tangent to this line. Then type 12 mm for the radius. Repeat the same command to draw another circle on this side of 12 mm for the radius. Use the TTR option again to draw a circle of 30 mm radius at this side and this side. Use the trim command and get rid of these parts. Then activate boundary creation from draw panel. Pick an internal point somewhere here and hit enter to end the command. Now just delete the circles and these lines. Then move this line back 100 mm right and trim it. Type MA for Match Properties command. Select this line as the source and this line as the destination object. Choose Gradient Fill from Draw panel. Select Gradient Cylinder. Change this color to white or black and this one to gray number 9. Increase transparency to 50 and make sure Select Objects option is selected. Then window select the spanner. Now we will continue the drawing with the screwdriver. Click on F12 to turn dynamic input on. Draw a 100 by 20 mm rectangle. Draw a horizontal X-line here and move it down 5 mm. Offset the X-line 15 mm in this direction. Use the 2P option of circle command and draw a circle between these two lines, then move it 2.5 mm right. Mirror the circle along this midpoint mark and delete the X-lines. Type BO for boundary creation. Pick the internal point somewhere here and hit space. Then delete these objects. Activate the rectangle command and snap this midpoint mark to draw a 50 by 5 mm rectangle. Draw another rectangle from this endpoint mark, 25 by 5 mm. Move them both 2.5 mm left. Select this rectangle and place the cursor over this mark. Click on Add Vertex from the menu. Specify location of the new vertex at the middle. Do the same on the opposite side. Turn dynamic input off with F12 key. Move both vertex or points 2.5 mm upward and 1.5 mm outward. Move this point 0.5 mm inward and the same for this point. Draw a 5 by 5 mm rectangle somewhere here. Place it at this midpoint mark, then move it 5 mm left. Draw a 5 mm diameter circle at this mark. Move it left and upward 5 mm. Then copy it 70 mm upward. Draw a rectangle from this quadrant mark to this quadrant mark. Trim this part and this part. Select this object and type J to join all segments into one. Select this object and do a mirror around this midpoint mark to the opposite side. I will do 5 mm radius fillet to both corners at the base and 1 mm fillet to all corners at the top here. Draw a vertical center line for the screwdriver. Then activate Gradient Fill, select this part and hit space. Click space again to activate Gradient Fill and select this part. Type MA for Match Properties command. Select this line as the source and this line as the destination object. Select this fill. Change the pattern to gradient linear. Change this color to blue and this color to green. Place the screwdriver 100 mm away from the spanner. Dimensioning. From Properties, change the layer to Dim for dimensioning. Type D and hit space to open Dimension Style Manager. Click on New and type Dim 01. Then Continue. In the Lines tab, make sure baseline spacing is 3.75, extend beyond dimension lines 1.25, offset from original 1. In the Symbols and Arrows tab, change arrow size to 1.8. Make sure dimension break size is 3.75. and go to Text tab. Change text height to 2. In the text placement field, make sure vertical is set to above and horizontal is set to centered. Change offset from dimension line to 1. In the text alignment field, check aligned with dimension line. In the Fit tab, make sure overall scale is selected and the value is 1. In the primary units, set the precision of linear dimensions to 0.0 and angular dimension to 0. Then click on OK. Go to Annotate tab and click on Linear. Measure the distance from here to here. Place the cursor over this mark and move it slowly right. You should see a horizontal path if Object Snap Tracking is on. Type 25 to place the dimension. Of course, you could place the dimension anywhere you want. Click space to repeat the command and measure the side of the screwdriver. Type DIMC for dimension continue and follow me dimensioning this side. Type DLI to activate linear dimension and measure all important sides of the drawings. Activate Align Dimension from the list and measure the width of both spanner head. Activate Angular Dimension from the list. Measure this angle and this angle. Activate Radius Dimension through the shortcut DIMR to measure all circles and arcs of the spanner and the screwdriver. You guys could follow me doing the same. Remember to use the space button every time to repeat the command. Now, we need to prepare the sheet to print the drawing. Go to Layout Sheet, select the existing viewport and delete it. Right-click Layout 1 and rename it to Exercise 11. Right-click Exercise 11 and go to Page Setup Manager, where we can set the sheet size, orientation, quality, and many other things. Click on Modify. Change the printer name to DWG to PDF. Make sure the paper size ISO full bleed A4 is selected. Check scale line weights and plot transparency. And make sure landscape orientation is selected. Then click on OK and close. Type viewport and hit space. Choose single and click OK. The command line is asking to specify the first corner, or just click on space for fit. If you go to Layer Properties Manager, you could see a layer created automatically and named Div Points. It was generated when the first dimension was created in the drawing. This layer is unprintable and stores information about definition points of dimensions. It's usually used for the viewports and for any detail in the drawing you don't want to print. So select the viewport and go to Properties, then change the layer to Div Points. Now, to print the drawing, we need to insert the title block we created together in Tutorial 8 of this course. Remember, title block is a template for the sheet you want to print, and it includes important information to identify the drawing. So, I will open exercise 1 that we did in Tutorial 8 and copy the title block from there. Select the title block and its content. Type CO and select Copy Base. Specify the base point as mentioned in the command line. Click on this mark and go to exercise 11. Click on Ctrl+V for paste command and place the title block at this endpoint mark. Select the viewport and adjust the boundaries to be inside the title block. Click on Scale from the status bar and check 1:1. Double-click inside the viewport. Then click and hold the mouse scroll wheel to adjust the drawing location. If the scale is changed while moving, you could simply adjust it back as we did before. Click on the lock sign to lock the viewport and prevent any changes for the scale. If the title block includes a logo and for some reason the logo disappears when you copy the title block from one drawing to another, we can help AutoCAD to locate the logo and resolve this issue by using the xref command. This is my logo and the status shows that it's not found. Click it twice, locate your logo and click on Open. Change the drawing title to Tutorial 18 Exercise 11. Change the scale to 1:1. Change the date and the drawing number to YT for YouTube, CAD for AutoCAD, TT18 for tutorial number 18, EX for exercise 011 for the exercise number. Click on Ctrl+P to open plot setting. If this window pops up, just click on Escape button. Click on Preview to check out the drawing before making the printout. Click on Print, choose a folder, type the file name, and click on Save. As you saw guys, in this tutorial, we were able to draw a spanner and screwdriver using basic tools from Draw and Modify panel, such as circle, rectangle, trim, and fillet commands. I used object snap tracking to place the dimensions at specific distance from the object, but you don't have to do that. You could simply place the dimensions anywhere close to the drawing, but make sure it's always continuous and on the same level for better appearance of the drawing. I purposely tried to execute the commands from the ribbon as well as using the shortcuts in order for you guys to be more familiar with the tool's location on the interface. Again, if you want to know more in detail about any tool or command I used during the exercise, I recommend you to watch tutorials 1 to 6. I left you timestamps in the video's timeline so you can skip around to any chapter or subject you want to revise. There is one more thing to do. Don't let this video end without subscribing to the channel and ring the notification bell to stay updated.